So now we're entering the school. All of our visitors come in and check in at our front window here. We take the safety of our students and staff very seriously. And so we ask that every time you come to campus, check in here, get a visitor's badge. That way everyone in the building knows that you are part of our community. So we see the sun rise every morning at Idea Rise. You see what I did there? Throughout our school building, you'll see different messages as part of our idea, what we call Idea 55. And they're 55 guidelines for how we interact with each other, how we show up in our space, how we learn every day, how we show up to work. Here's idea number 4. Here's idea 21. But you'll see these are things that we adopt as part of our approach to school every day. So you'll hear a teacher, oh, idea number 4, or oh, idea 21. And those are our calls to action for our scholars and ourselves as staff members to be sure that we are showing up in the space in the best way possible. And here we are in our cafeteria. This is where we have lunch, we have activities, assemblies, after school programming, school events. It's a great big space. We actually have 2 cafeteria spaces so we can serve our entire campus throughout the day. We are very lucky right now with our child nutrition program. They are providing curbside meals. We'll step outside there. And as a district, Idea Public Schools across all of our regions just served our 1,000,000th meal during the week of April 20th. And so that was exciting to be able to provide that service to the community. So we've got our curbside area here with our arrival and dismissal zone for anyone. Ages 18 and under, we have free meals, breakfast, lunch, and supper every day, Monday through Friday. And on Friday, we also serve Saturday and Sunday breakfast and lunch. Our gym is built with all the bells and whistles for athletics. So we have our scoreboards, bleachers for our fans. We also have full locker rooms. So our schools are really able to offer athletics in addition to academics. And we're proud of our scholars in our campuses in other regions that already have seniors, that we've had scholars who've been able to go to college on athletic scholarships. All right, and for our Academy scholars, this is one of the most fun places in the whole school. This is our playground, and so our students, our scholars as we call them, in our Academy grade levels have recess every day. They have a chance to come outside, play, talk with their friends, run around, burn off some energy, and get focused back in for learning. Outside we also have our soccer field. So we have a UIL regulation soccer field that allows us to compete in state athletics. And we are so excited to see our future Raven soccer teams competing. So right now, each of the classrooms that we go into is going to be in a transitional state of getting ready for the next school year. So you'll see all the furniture either removed or stacked against the wall so that we can make room to clear out, so we can wax, paint, and get ready for the next school year. But I do want to give you a sense of what kinds of things you would see in a classroom in normal instructional times. So typically what kindergarten classroom, for example, is 2 separate teacher-led small group areas. So again, we can have multiple groups going at the same time. You'd see big goals to motivate our scholars to be in class every day, to stick with us through the whole year to make that total progress and to reach our high expectations of achievement levels. You'd see tracking for the groups, so you'd know every day how much progress each group is making in their lessons. And then you would see exemplar or model scholar work so that all of our scholars know what are we striving to reach and what does great work look like, so they have something to aim for. So fun fact about IDEA, we take health and wellness very seriously. This is one of my favorite things. We have filtered water fountains, so I can bring my reusable water bottle on campus, refill it, and stay hydrated throughout the day. One of our goals as a district is to be the healthiest school district in the nation, and so we take hydration, physical fitness, wellness, nutrition seriously. So that's why it's important for us to have PE, play, a healthy menu, access to water, all of those things for our scholars so that they build the healthy habits that are going to fuel their brains and bodies for optimal learning. So now we've come into a first grade classroom, and what's unique about IDEA is that we actually start changing classes in first grade. So your scholar is going to build that independence and transition starting in first grade. Now in first grade, it's not a free-for-all. Don't worry, your first grader is not going to navigate the hallways by themselves like a high schooler would. They transition as a class, but they do have a different reading teacher, a different math teacher, a different language teacher. And so in a second grade class, we're starting even more independent. So you'll see even the furniture transitions. So we go to desks from tables, and we take all those little steps so that every year our scholars are building more independence as they get further on their path to and through college. One of the questions we often get as a charter school is, what about special education? So at IDEA, we are proud to offer a variety of special education programming. That's everything from inclusion in the least restrictive environment in the general education classroom with a special education teacher pushing in to serve scholars. It can look like pull-out programs, so if a scholar just needs additional support in reading or in math, or it can look like self-contained, and this is one of our classrooms that is a special education self-contained classroom. It has its own restroom, it has its own washer and dryer, refrigerator, kitchen area, and so scholars, no matter what their needs are, if their individualized education program, their IEP requires self-contained services, we have that at IDEA. We take a lot of pride in our community in our school, and so each week there's Community Circle, which is where classrooms gather. They have cheer, they recognize success, they give awards to encourage progress and growth. And so, for example, Ms. Davila's class won a Community Circle Spirit Award. You'll also see in our classrooms that we have small groups for individualized instruction, because when you have a classroom of scholars, some students are going to be well above the grade level benchmark, and some scholars are going to be below the grade level benchmark. And so for us, we do a lot of our instruction, particularly in our early elementary years, in small groups, so that every student is getting the level of instruction that's going to push them at their growth area, so their developmental growth. Now here's just a sense of the scale and scope of the work that our amazing facilities team has to do right now. They're clearing out every classroom, waxing, painting, moving hundreds of desks, hundreds of chairs, hundreds of tables to get our building reset and beautiful for the next school year. Here's an example of what a classroom looks like that's getting ready for the future. So we start our schools with limited grade levels so that we can start small, get to know our kids, get to know our families, and grow each year to be a full K through 12 campus here at IDEA Rise. And so this year we have a building that's ready for a K to 8 school, but only serving K through 3 and 6th and 7th grade. And so we do have these empty classrooms that are going to be the future site of 5th grade, or the future site of 4th grade, or 8th grade. And so it's exciting to think about what will be happening in these rooms in the future years. And as your child grows into these new classrooms, they grow into our school. Our school's growing with your child. As I mentioned, we're a school in the middle of getting ready for the next school year. So normally in this room, you would see our independent reading carols spread out. You would see bookshelves organized and filled with books, but we're in the middle of clearing things out so we can wax, repaint, get ready for the next year. This room is our AR zone, and that's our accelerated reader zone. And so this is almost our library. This is where our scholars come in and they get to read a book that's at their reading level, independent reading level, and they get to choose something that's fun for them, something that's in their interest. And then once they read the story, they take the AR test on the book that measures their comprehension, and then they get credit for words. And we're looking for our scholars to read over 1 million words a year so that they can become our royal readers and take part in our royal reader celebration each year. Royal reader, say that one 5 times fast. Those R's trip me up. The other side of our AR zone is our hotspot. This is our independent math lab. It's also our computer lab. And you'll see one of these in our academy and one of these for our college prep as well. In our hotspot, scholars are working on math programs, again, at their independent work level. So it's pushing them to master skills. It's pushing them to learn the next step skills. And there's really no limit. So a first grader may be doing 3rd, 4th, 5th grade level math on the hotspot because it's at their pace and at their level. And then as scholars master their lessons in hotspot, they become math masters. And as they continue to progress, they become math geniuses. And so scholars who make that great progress get recognized. They get that individual achievement celebration. They get shouted out for being math masters, math geniuses. And so there is that incentive for working hard and making progress.
We have reached the end of our tour. I hope to see you all in this upcoming school year.